Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Governor's Management Fellowship information video. My name is Isabella Griffiths, and I am one of the Governor's Management Fellows for the class of 2026. We will use this time to give more details and insight into the fellowship application process, the beginning of the fellowship, some more information about our current fellows, and go over any frequently asked questions. So now we'll move on to introductions. I'll start first. As I mentioned, my name is Isabella Griffiths, and I'm currently placed in the Department of Agriculture. I'm originally from Knoxville, Tennessee, where I graduated in May of 2024 from the University of Tennessee. I pursued a degree in language world business with a concentration in French and international business, and I also minored in women gender studies.
Hello, I'm Keandra Harper. I'm another Governor's Management Fellow, originally from East Tennessee, Morristown, and I went to East Tennessee State University where I studied psychology with minors in women's studies and anthropology, and I'm currently placed in the Department of Health.
Hi everyone, my name is Antonina Lucido. I'm originally from Rochester, Michigan. I went to Lipscomb University, which is here in Nashville, and I studied political science and economics. Right now I'm placed with the Tennessee Higher Education Commission.
Hi all, thank you for watching. My name is Jack McDonald. I'm also a Governor's Management Fellow. I studied political science and public relations at Union University, and now I'm placed with TDEC, the Department of Environment and Conservation, working with them on communications and outreach initiatives for the Tennessee Conservationist and their Division of Water Resources.
Hey y'all, my name's Hayden Pierce. I'm from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and I went to Ole Miss, graduated last year in 2024 with a degree in International Studies, Economics, and Spanish, and I am currently placed in the Department of Tourist Development.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take point here and explain a fellowship overview. So just giving some high-level information on what exactly the Governor's Management Fellowship is, what we do, how long it lasts, and things like that. So if you're here wondering what is the fellowship, the good news is we have a slide exactly for you. The Tennessee Governor's Management Fellowship is a 2-year fellowship that offers recent graduates the opportunity to serve Tennessee and its citizens. So this is a 2-year fellowship. It's not a seasonal internship. It is a long-term 2-year program that offers unique opportunities to recent graduates who show themselves to be exceptional candidates. The fellowship program for the upcoming class will run from August of 2026 to July of 2028. The fellowship in general is focused on improving operational efficiency and effectiveness in state government. An important note here is that this is not a policy-focused or legislative branch fellowship. All of the fellows' operations throughout the duration of the program will be concentrated in the executive branch. So you'll be working with different departments and agencies on the executive side of state government to improve the lives of Tennesseans. The fellows are full-time state employees. This is not part-time. This is not an internship. You are a full-time professional if you're selected for the fellowship. And all fellows receive a $60,000 base salary and are eligible for pay for performance as well as benefits. So now I'm going to pass it off to Keandra to talk about the application timeline.
Thanks, Jack. The class that we're referring to is the class of 2028, but all events related to applying for the class of 2028 will take place in 2025. The application opens on August 15th and will close on October 15th. Applicants will be offered virtual interviews on October 21st, and those virtual interviews will be held the week of October 27th through the 31st. Each interview will be scheduled for a 30-minute time slot during that week. The top 10 finalists will be offered in-person interviews by November 5th, and then those in-person interviews will be conducted along with the reception for the finalists on November 17th and 18th. This will happen in Nashville, and finalists will participate in both days for this part. The final 5 fellows will receive offers by December 15th, and the fellowship will begin the following year on August 3rd of 2026. So as the fellowship begins in August, you will start the first part of the fellowship program within customer-focused government, or CFG, and fellows will spend the first 6 to 9 months learning about state government, touring state agencies, and working on programs and projects within CFG. During this time, fellows will also be assessing state government for a capstone project that outlines a strategic solution for a statewide need. After the initial phase of the fellowship, fellows will move into a placement with a state department, which is what we mentioned in our introductions. You'll be in a department or agency where the fellows will lead a project. The fellow will serve under commissioners and other executive leaders of their assigned department, and they'll lead those projects for the remainder of the fellowship. During this time, they will also continue working on their programs and projects in CFG. And I will pass it to Hayden.
Thanks, Key. So I'll go over the responsibilities of a fellow. First and foremost, a fellow is responsible for supporting the programs and services of CFG, the office us fellows are housed under. And that can look like consulting engagements, strategic planning, project management, problem solving, facilitations, and other efforts that drive operational efficiency across Tennessee state government. We are also responsible for engaging with each of the 23 state departments to learn about operations, namely through serving Tennessee tours when we go and visit with each department to learn about their operations. We are responsible for participating in leader development training. This is provided through the Accelerated Leadership Institute. There's plenty of opportunities also provided through our Office of Customer Focused Government, Department of Human Resources, and other opportunities across the state. And then we are finally also responsible for supporting the projects and programs of our department placements, which we'll talk about more in a minute. I want to take an opportunity to kind of give a little bit more flavor to the fellowship through these pictures. So 5 of these pictures are from our Serving Tennessee tours, when we get to meet with those different departments, meet with their leadership and their staff, learn about the services they provide and how they operate. And those tours are just a really great way of learning more about how state government works, what different agencies do. And it's a really fun opportunity to kind of see the more exciting side of state government. So that first picture at the top left is us graduating from the Accelerated Leadership Institute. That in the middle is the Commissioner of Human Resources. The second picture in the top row is us meeting with Governor Lee. That was last fall. We got to have a meet and greet with him, an opportunity just to share a little about ourselves and learn more about what he does as governor. And then the next 2 pictures, so the third and then the first on the bottom row, are from our tour with the Department of Agriculture. The Department of Agriculture has over 100 firefighting bulldozers, so we got to ride one in a field, which was super fun. Then we also got to test out our lasso abilities on a fake bull. And then that picture, the second in the bottom, is from our tour with the Department of Environment and Conservation. We got to go on the roof of the Tennessee Tower, and it was really a great opportunity because they were just pointing at the projects they have done in the Nashville area, and you could just tell how big the state's environment and conservation footprint is. And then that final picture is us meeting with Secretary of State and his office, learning more about elections and the services they provide to businesses.
Thanks, Hayden. As Hayden mentioned, the fellowship is housed in Customer Focused Government, which is an office here at the state. We are the state's internal consulting group, and our services can be bucketed into 2 short-term and long-term programs. These range all the way from facilitating business optimization to strategy development. The fellow's responsibility in customer-focused government is to serve under senior staff members on these initiatives, and it's really an opportunity to learn project management, collaboration through other state agencies. For example, I'm working on the continuity of state operations right now with Keandra under some senior management consultants in customer-focused government, and we get to interact with all 23 executive agencies. Another short-term project that Keandra and Jack worked on was with the Governor's Early Literacy Foundation, where they revitalize their data internal processes. So this is just another part of the fellowship that you get to work on. I'll pass it off to Jack to talk about Capstone.
So fellows do get to work on projects with CFG, and obviously they also have their department placements. But the third most important aspect of being a fellow is your capstone project. So all 5 fellows are afforded an incredible opportunity to hone in on a particular area of state operations that they warrant could use improvement. And so the capstone projects aim to improve the services of state government and directly benefit the lives of the Tennessee citizens who those services affect. So some examples of past capstone projects of other fellows are MyTN, the Rural Toolbox, Transparent TN, COVID Recovery Task Force recommendations, education reform for justice-involved individuals, and using behavioral economics to improve customer engagement. Now, it's a very diverse collection of capstone projects that I just read off there. And that's because fellows have a lot of agency here to choose what direction they want to take their capstone in so that their capstone is personally meaningful to them and also has the flexibility to apply across state government and not just to one particular agency or one particular policy. The goal of the capstone is to improve state government on a broader level, and it gives fellows the capacity to actually drive those changes personally. Just as an example, MyTN here, the top example of a capstone project, is the official app for the state of Tennessee. Prior to this capstone proposal, Tennessee did not have a unified way to communicate their services and other offerings to Tennesseans. But MyTN now provides that unified communication channel that all Tennesseans can use to plug into their community, access state services, get special like traffic notifications and other things like that that actively contribute to making their lives better. So Capstone Project is a really unique opportunity, and it's one of the best opportunities that fellows are afforded as part of their fellowship. So I highly recommend. I'm going to pass it back to Antonina now to talk about our current placements.
Yes, we briefly mentioned department placements. When we gave our introductions, we all gave our placements, and they're listed here again. Placement process works in a mutual selection way. So through the Serving Tennessee tours, which you saw the fun photos from, and your work with customer-focused government, you get to interact with the executive agencies, kind of get to know them, the customers that they serve, and the service offerings that they provide. So through that mutual selection process, you'll get introduced to departments, they get to learn more about them the more you're interested in them. And then your workload in your placement after you begin placement starts off small, and then slowly you get to take on more responsibility, larger responsibilities. For example, my placement in the Tennessee Higher Education Commission, I am working in the Bureau of Policy Planning and Research. So I just had an interest in higher education, data work, policy work. And so through mutual selection, I landed with them, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. Finally, I will pass it off to Bella to give you some frequently asked questions.
Thank you, Antonina. So yes, next we'll move on to some frequently asked questions about the fellowship that we've heard or either had ourselves before we applied. So the first question being, how are fellows placed with the departments? So as Antonina was mentioning earlier, placement is a mutual selection between the department and the fellow. Departments will present a project proposal to CFG, which then fellows will decide which department and project appeals to their interests and is best suited for their professional and personal goals. Additionally, what is the benefit of participating in the fellowship versus starting a different state job? So the fellowship is a highly coveted and distinguished opportunity that sets you apart from your peers. It's an excellent learning opportunity for all areas of the state, and fellows get the chance to make connections and work on projects that aren't frequently afforded to other entry-level state positions. It's a really great way to jumpstart your career in general, but especially with the state. Do fellows have opportunities for learning and development? Absolutely. As Hayden mentioned on our picture slide, that was one opportunity was from the Accelerated Leadership Institute. So that's an example there. And CFG grants fellows learning and development opportunities across multiple competencies, such as leadership, facilitation, strategizing, just to name a few. Fellows are also encouraged to seek out additional learning and development opportunities throughout the duration of the fellowship. What does customer-focused government, or CFG, do? So we've alluded to it in some of the responsibilities of CFG throughout the presentation, but in a nutshell, CFG is the state's internal consulting group. Their mission is to drive enterprise-wide innovation and operational efficiency to benefit Tennesseans. And finally, where else can I find information about the fellowship, CFG, and the executive branch? So you can find more information about all of the above at tn.gov, but more specifically at tn.gov/CFG. From our CFG webpage, you can then find more information and details about the fellowship. So now I will pass it back to Hayden to close us out.
Yeah, we figured you probably have questions and we welcome them. So we thought we would be generous with our contact information here if you have any specific inquiries for individual fellows, either based off of where we're placed department-wise or where we went to college or anything else. Feel free to send us an email, ask us a question. If you have any general inquiries, please reach out to tn.fellows@tn.gov. And then finally, thanks for watching. We really appreciate your time, and we hope to see your application come through this fall.